So we've already learned about how we make revenue from selling and delivering products, and we've subtracted the cost of the ingredients known as cost of sales to get to gross margin. And gross margin is the amount of money we have left over to pay for operating the overall business. These other expenses that are not considered ingredients, these expenses are called operating expenses, or OPEX for short. That's OPEX. So when people at your company talk about overhead, this is part of the income statement that they're referring to. With operating expenses, we're answering the question, how much did the company spend running the business? Some companies put all the operating expenses into one line item, but because Apple has a lot of research and development, they choose to itemize and break out that line separately here. And sometimes this is abbreviated as R&D. Research and development for Apple in 2018 was $14,236 million. This includes all the cost and spending for things like designing and improving existing products or inventing new products, and all these costs are completely independent of how much product is sold. So salaries of employees working on new products is an example of a research and development expense. Apple spent $16,705 million on selling, general, and administrative. You'll likely hear this expense referred to as SG&A for short. It includes payroll expenses like the CEO and other executive salaries, but it also includes non-payroll expenses like office supplies, rent, marketing. These costs are generally fixed, meaning they don't vary directly with sales volume. So if Apple sells another product and they're able to increase revenue, operating expenses may not change at all. If you're ever asked to help contribute to your team or department's budget, typically you're being asked for your input on the operating expenses. So examples of this might be, how many people are you needing to hire this year? Or how much do you plan to spend on travel or on office supplies? As an employee, it's important to know how your spending decisions impacts this line item called operating expenses. If you can find a way to do more with less of these type of expenses, that effort of yours will show up as a benefit in terms of decreasing OPEX, and you'll make your colleagues over in the finance department very happy.
Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party.
All these operating expenses are paid for with the gross margin dollars from above. If you can't keep your operating expenses lower than your gross margin, then you may have a problem and you're not going to be a profitable company.